So welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
From another world.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, that was Supergirl.
She's definitely from somewhere else. Or she was
Supergirl.
Yeah, don't get that confused. That's the wrong property completely.
Wrong superhero.
Yeah. Sword and the Stone. Do you remember that one? The cartoon?
Absolutely. Buy out Funimation right now and
wait. The people that own Dragon Ball Z are Funimation?
Hold on. Who owns?
Well, Cruella DeVille. She's getting her own movie too eventually, I guess.
Is Glenn Close playing her?
Probably. They're probably the same age roughly now, about 30 years from the 70s. So they should be ripe old age of 105 or so. Black Widow, which is the ScarJo character from Avengers. She's going to get her own movie for some reason.
Is that a porno?
No, but it very well could or is.
Sorry. The diamond in the rough.
Okay. That's right, buddy. All right, good job.
I've been sitting on that the whole time.
That's fine. I can see you had a steamer there. You got it. All right.
Crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Welcome, craft beer. My name is Donnie. This is the Craft Brews and Geek News podcast. We are the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club. We talk about national stories, local flavors, and our favorite geeky nuggets of pop culture. I am joined this evening by Mr. 1A Ryan Guy. How are you?
Hey, I'm very good. Ryan Guy is in the house.
Good to see you, buddy. And we are not joined by Dane or Louse Man tonight just because scheduling conflicts. I think Louse is moving house right now, so it's going to take him a minute to get his internet back. Is what I was told he's actually doing, but we'll see how that kind of plays out. But it's good to see you, buddy.
And very good to see you as well, Donnie. I feel like did I miss last episode? Was I not?
No,
on
you
that?
were on last. You were on last episode. You were off the episode before that. So
gotcha. That's right. The last episode we did was Thanksgiving, so it's been 2 weeks. Okay. Wow, man. Yeah. I cannot tell you. Life has been busy.
It has, and that's what always happens here, which is why recording in December is just terrible time because nobody's free and everybody's busy, and there's family stuff, and every weekend you're booked up. So.
Yep. Doing Black Friday shopping and all that stuff too. Yeah. It's crazy time.
It doesn't help. And then money's tight and everybody's trying to make a family party or a company outing. So it's always just a rough time to be trying to schedule anything.
Yeah. Try having a 9 and 4-year-old that love LOL dolls.
Well, I can't speak to that, but your house looks very lovely for Christmas. It's great.
Ashley did most of the decorating. The girls helped out as well, and that's our big ass tree behind me. So thanks for noticing.
That is a giant tree. We did all of our Christmas decorating in November, like November 1st. Like we had it done by the first week, so we were just enjoying the season.
So you've been decorated for over a month now for Christmas. Is that what you're telling me?
I've been well decorated for at least a month for Christmas. Yes,
I think it took us 10 days into November to put all of the Halloween stuff away. We just did not want to let go of Halloween, I think, and then we rode that wave right through Turkey Day. That was Thanksgiving, and we just started putting up. Actually, was it 2 nights ago? I think Sunday we started putting up all the Christmas stuff. Sunday or Saturday, I think. So good for you, man.
I think that's par for the course. But we were like, well, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, so I mean, we celebrate Thanksgiving. We don't decorate for Thanksgiving. So it's like,
right.
I just put up the Christmas decorations.
Might as well. Good call. Maybe we'll do that next year. Which 2008 is right around the corner.
That's true. It's literally right around the corner. It's about 26 days from now. So you are, it's a good goal or a resolution to make for New Year's, which is literally right around the corner. So that's great. And as much as we were talking about all the busyness, have to take some time for yourself and enjoy a drink or two. So I know that you've been pretty busy, and I think what you're going to talk about transitions right into our first story of the evening. But we'll kick it off with our famous segment. What are you drinking? What are you going to drink? And I don't know if you want to start or if you want to start talking about what you brought, or I can start. Doesn't matter.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down there, Donnie. And if you would like to go, let's go ahead and hear yours, because you are correct on my end.
Sure. So I've got an oldie but a goodie, and I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the cast before, but for my birthday, as it was like literally this week, it was, I think, actually yesterday is my birthday. So we were, my sister actually brought this out for me, which is the Rogue, the Dead Guy Ale from Rogue, which is just a fantastic drinking beer. I've loved the Dead Guy Ale from Rogue for years. for I think it was one of the first probably craft beers I ever had out of Oregon, and I've just always been a fan of it. So it's you've had it before, right, Ron?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic beer, and one of the beers that I could have picked up tonight, but I did not.
Yeah, it's a Mailbock, and it's a Maybach, which is just pretty dark, heavy. You can lighter version of a Bock beer. It's not as caramely or as like roasty or as thick, but it's definitely an easy drinking beer. We were at the beach, and I was drinking 2 or 3 of those things. They're about 6.8% alcohol, and just a great easy drinking beer, especially if you don't like dark beer, or if you see one out and you want to try dark beer. The Rogue Ale's Dead Guy Ale is just fantastic beer. They have a clone recipe for the Pico brew, which I might try one day. I haven't tried it yet, but I almost forget how much I like this beer, so maybe I'll try it sooner versus later and make one of those just to compare. But that's what I brought for tonight. So
nicely done, sir. Nicely done. I actually, as you were alluding to, Donnie, which will lead into our first story nicely, I picked up the Sierra Nevada BFD. I know we've talked about this a couple times on the podcast throughout the last few months. I think it's a very easy drinking beer. It helps that they sell them in 1 pint with, about 20 fluid ounces, let's just say, roughly canned. And it's just a very nice beer. It's a go-to beer for me. You talk about being on the beach or whatever. I really enjoy this beer for those types of atmospheres. It's bittered with a Simcoe hops and finished with a Polaris and a Comet hops, brewed with and fermented with an ale yeast. So if anybody wants to try to brew it yourself, you can. It's not very heavy on the hops, so it's just a very good beer. And Sierra Nevada, one of our unofficial sponsors, Donnie, is just a very great company. And with that, I leave the rest up to you.
Well, no. To your point, that is a great segue, because what you had, we were, shooting a few messages back and forth, and we've got to bring some of this to the Facebook group. Actually, just thinking about it now, but you were mentioning that you're brewing a beer for the Fire Relief Fund. So we mentioned how busy and how stressed again and everything is, but at least your house isn't burning down, which is what's happening in the great state of California right now, and it's been happening for a while.
Yeah.
So part of the segment is what will you drink, but segueing into our first story,
what will I be brewing?
Yeah, what are you brewing and why? I mean, I can actually get into the news piece that we have.
Yeah. So as many of y'all know, there was just a terrible fire. Maybe a week or 2 ago? Is it even still burning? I'm not sure. I think it's kind of subsided a little bit now. But in effort to help with the victims of that fire, Sierra Nevada, who was also affected in small ways, want to play a role by getting as many breweries in the nation as possible on board with brewing the exact same beer. And they put out a beer recipe for this resilient beer, and those that signed up could join in and they would get the recipe. And last I knew, there was over 400 breweries. I don't know if that number has grown in the last week, but me not being a brewery or having my own brewery, I felt, well, there's got to be a way that I can be a part of this. So I looked at the recipe. And part of the recipe calls for Cascade hops. Well, Donnie, who do you know that I know that grows Cascade hops?
Yeah, our buddies right down the street.
Exactly. Duke and Austin have a hop farm that grow Cascade hops. So I contacted Austin. I was like, hey, man, I got this idea. Let me run it by you. And then I contacted our good friends, Christian and Jill, over at Brew, because a few months ago, we brewed a beer and we put it on tap, and we did it as a fundraiser donation, $5 a beer or whatever you wanted to donate, got you a beer. And I said, hey, what do you think about this idea? And the idea was, well, I'll brew this beer. We use some of Duke and Austin's homegrown Cascade hops, along with the other hops that are in this recipe, and we'll put it on tap at Brew with Christian's blessing, to which he happily obliged. And we'll be brewing that this Friday night with just enough Cascade hops for the recipe, and we'll put it on tap for Brew, and we'll raise the money and send it off where it needs to go, so that we can help be part of that relief effort in some small way.
I was going to say, foundationally, what Ryan's talking about is that the deadliest fire in California history, it was set into motion one of the more charitable collaborations amongst this nation's brewers that's ever happened. So 1,200 breweries, this is of like last week, have signed up to join Sierra Nevada, which is located in Chico, California, part of the same county that is been hit very hard by these wildfires. Have dedicated a beer recipe. It's actually I have it here. It's a Resilience IPA, and they actually have donated, or they are donating 100% of the proceeds from that beer to the Sierra Nevada Campfire Relief Fund, which basically was started with $100,000 donation. So it's a very cool thing to do. And what they're donating that money to is to all of the first responders and displaced residents that the fire has affected. So they're handing out clothing and of course financial try payback, whatever you want to say, just to try and get these people through this rough time. But it's very cool. And then did you find the recipe that you were looking for to describe it?
Yeah, no, I've got it saved. I'm just trying to find the actual photo of, let me see here.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll keep going with the Sierra Nevada news. But they brewed about Sierra Nevada brewed about 74,000 gallons last Tuesday, and they plan to release it on January 5th, 2019. So again, they will can some of that beer and they'll make it available on draft, course, but other participating breweries are only going to sell the Resilience IPA on draft, and most of their releases are planned for late December into early January. So overall, the project should yield about 8.6 million pints of beer by the brewery estimates.
That's a ton of beer, which can raise a ton of money for those relief efforts. I did find the recipe, and everybody out there, if you want us to post it, let us know. The recipe calls for a 5-gallon batch. So these guys are brewing much more, but for a 5-gallon batch, it's 11 pounds raw 2-row, 1.25 pounds crisp crystal 60L. And then that's your base malts right there. And then it goes into your hops, which 1 ounce Centennial hops at 80 minutes. So it's going to be an 80-minute boil. And then 1 ounce Cascade hops at 15 minutes left in the boil. 1 ounce Centennial hops with 15 minutes left in the boil. So you're going to add both of those at the same time. With 15 minutes left. And then you're going to whirlpool with half an ounce of Cascade and half an ounce of Centennial. And then you're going to dry hop. I don't know how many days into it. Chris from 610, he once said the beer tells you when it's ready. There's no listing really on when you should dry hop necessarily. So whenever you get ready to dry hop with a half ounce Cascade, half ounce Centennial, and use Imperial yeast or Imperial dry hop yeast or American ale yeast of your choice. So there you have it. We could post the recipe for you and give credit to those who made it, because none of this is our doing. So yeah.
Well, and the other thing, to note on this is that that's admirable that you guys are trying to find out. I don't know, how are you going to source the money? Where to get the money to for your brew?
So I talked to Christian, and after the beer is brewed and fermenting, he's going to kind of go through the the process of contacting Sierra Nevada to kind of, find out where we should send the money to and tell them the story of, the local hop farm and everything else, which is not so much the story of actually helping, but it's kind of cool, just the neat community of craft beer, not just breweries, but home brewers alike. We can all be part of this effort. And if you have a good inn at a local tavern or wherever that you can, just put this or find out if you can donate beer. You don't have to sell it, but donate it and send it to the relief effort. I think it's a pretty cool thing to be a part of. So,
well, I totally agree, and so I absolutely have the. Okay, so let's see. So I have the brewery list right here in front of me, and you can actually. I'm trying to see if I can. Yeah, I want to see if I can actually. 1 second.
Wow, more than 12,000 as of today. Is that today? November 29th. Wow. So when I first saw this, it was at 400. Now it's over 12,000 breweries. I think that's amazing.
Look at the list itself. There's 1,277 breweries on this list right now.
I just said 12,000, didn't I? I meant 1,200.
Yeah, you did.
It's been a long day. Jesus.
12, well, I wasn't trying to call you out. I'm just saying there's 1,200 breweries that are on the list. 1,277 right now, and I'm going to add you and Brew. So you got to come up with a brewery name so I can add you and the effort for Brew to their list. You don't have to think of it on the spot.
Okay.
But we will post it out there.
Okay.
And yeah, absolutely. In the correction on my end too, it's 100% of beer sales, not just the proceeds. It's 100% of the beer sales go to the Campfire Relief Fund.
Awesome.
And again, I have the Google Doc right here in front of me. So I've just seen who else we can get to get us on the list, because I think that would be pretty cool to be recognized and part of this. So at least we're trying. That's the good news. But they did release a Google Doc itself has 102 additional breweries that aren't part of the 1,277 that are currently listed. So what an impressive feat. And it's just an awesome thing. So did you get a look at the list of Florida breweries that are already on that Google Doc?
Let's see.
I can list them off for you. I've got a couple in front of me here.
Sure, go for it. I'm trying to find it. You said on the Google Doc or on the website link?
Well, it's in there's a series of links there that I put in the notes, but basically Escape is on there in Trinity, Florida, which is fantastic. Funky Buddha, Cigar City, of course, Dunedin, 48, your good friends and ours. Bootleggers Brewing Company, which is in Brandon. Paradise, we know those guys.
Yeah.
St. Pete Brewing Company, Calusa Brewing. Tampa Bay Brewing Company, which is great. Tarpon River Brewing, which I didn't really know they were even around. So very cool stuff, man. We should try to line up some interviews or something to talk to these guys, because it's just very cool.
Absolutely.
It's a great thing to do, and I'm so impressed. So way to go, craft beer again. This is an idea that you and I have kicked around about a couple times, and I don't want to get into the detail of it, but obviously you see that this can work. This can be a thing. And people will talk about it as we are now, and people will respond to it as these breweries and the patrons and the employees of each brewery, owners and management staff all do. So obviously it's something that we need to continue to do as a craft beer community. But I've been talking a lot, Ryan. So give me your export. What made you think to do this, and how did it start? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I was reading the article like everybody else, hearing about the news of what they were trying to do, and Donnie, you know me, my heart should most oftentimes is in the right place, and I was laying in bed late one night a couple days ago, and just like, I wonder how I could be part of this effort to help raise money, even if it's like on a small scale. I mean, I can only brew up to 6 gallons and keg it, but how can I be part of this? And then the light bulb went off. As soon as I saw the recipe, I was like, oh, there's Cascade. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. And, if you remember, the Odessa Red a few months back helped generate the not all of this bulk, but help contribute to a donation that ended up getting made over $2,000 to a charitable donation group that goes up to brew. So I figured even if we raised $400 or $500 and sent it to the cause, I mean that's $400 or $500 that cause didn't have before, even if all these other breweries are doing it and sending that money. So it's a good cause to give back, and it's amazing what like I said earlier, what the community of craft beer can be about. So that's sort of how the idea was born. Like, hey, I can be a part of this too. I'm a home brewer, but I can be a part of this too. Let us all in, kind of thing. So
I'm just reading through the article. They have 100 breweries here listed on their website, Sierra Nevada, but more than that, Jesus, they have 1,000 listed below. But what I'm looking for is,
there are
how
1,000 breweries signed up there, buddy.
Yeah, there's a few more than that, but we do support them in this effort specifically. And I just put a link in the chat. Did you see that?
Yep, that's the link.
I don't know if that's the recipe.
That's the link that I was reading out the recipe. Yeah, okay. So that's the link right there, and we can post it for everybody if they want it posted, or you can. You want me to say the link name of where we got it? Because I mean, it is kind of there. It's a great.
Absolutely.
Site.
I'm gonna post it. Yeah, I'll post it right now.
Okay. Yeah, you can find the recipe at American Homebrewers Association. That's homebrewersassociation.org, and just search Sierra Nevada Resilience IPA. So if you're a home brewer out there and you want to get behind this in some small capacity and do whatever you can, give it a shot. Why not go out there and brew? So.
Yeah. I think again, it's just a fantastic thing. So, I see you posted on it. So I'll put it in your comment here. Basically the recipe for the whole thing. So there. So awesome. Yeah, and that's in our Facebook group, Craft Brews Geek News on Facebook. Of course, just ask us to join, and we will let you in. It's a great group there. But the Sierra Nevada efforts. So Ryan, any other craft beer news that you want to talk about before we get into our main meat and potatoes here? I want to get through this stuff kind of quickly, but there's a lot here to cover.
Not that I can think of right now. 2019 is around the corner, and I can't wait to find out what we're going to be talking about next. So let's move on.
Well, yeah, that's a good segue. Moves and drinking on in, send it on back kind of section here. What we decided to talk about, since it's just the two of us this evening, it's really just conversational. And I don't know if you've noticed the whole format of the show this evening, but what we're trying to do with episode 82 here, congrats, again, we're at 82. Can't even really believe it, but I wanted to kick the format a little bit. We change things up here quite frequently, but I wanted to make it more of a conversation and less of a news, hard-hitting, something that we're not, because we're not a news station. We're not a channel. We are the Craft Brews and Geek News, show, and that's what we do, and we'll continue to report on that. But I also think that as a I think they're a lot more fun when they're more conversational. So we need to try and stick to those roots. What do you think about that format change?
I could not agree with you more.
But anyways, moving on.
Yeah. No, I think a more conversation.
Yeah.
Piece would be cool, pretty much. I mean, because I think we talk very well. I think me, you, Laos, Dane, when we all get together, we talk very well. And yeah, so let's see what you got. Let's see what you got in mind.
Well, what I wanted to do again, just because it is a slow news week, and we've got a couple trailers that are going to break. I believe I've been told through some other sources and other podcasts that I listen to, like the Weekly Planet and Jedi Council, that we may get some trailers this week for Captain Marvel.
That came out today, if I'm not mistaken.
It should have. And Monday Night Football should be coming something else. And I think it's not Star Wars, but it's something else. There's a couple other Marvel movies, trailers that are coming out. But then you've got Disney, who's got Mary Poppins and Dumbo coming and all that kind of crap. So what I was taking in all this news from Disney, and I sat back and I thought, how much money is Disney going to make in 2019? So in 2019, and we'll kind of go through this ad hoc, but we've got movies, games, and theme parks that are literally expanding. All in 2019. It's going to be California in the first part of 2019, and then Orlando in the fall of 2019. That actually opens up the Star Wars Galaxy Edge, which I am over the moon stoked with. But really, how much money do we think that they're going to make? That's what I was trying to wrap my head around. And as I started doing research for this episode, I was like, holy shit. I was like, in the box office alone, they can make $9 billion just in the box office. But then I'm like, well, is that even an impressive number? I look back doing some more research, and in 2016, Disney pulled in a global take of $55.6 billion.
Jesus.
I was like, is that impressive to you?
I mean, more impressive to me would be is that net profit. Like, is that
Well,
gross profit or net profit for Disney?
It's not
Like,
profit or any version.
Yeah, because they obviously owe a lot of money for everything that they own. But I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Sure.
I mean, I'm jumping for joy because I got a decent chunk, proposal signed today, but it's nowhere near $6 billion or whatever. So
$56 billion. So what they made in
it's
16.
nowhere near that.
So
if it was, I'd be buying us all a house.
so these numbers are coming from Statista.com, but go ahead and take in, and you may have seen it in the notes, but if you were to imagine a jump from 2016 at 55.6 billion to 2018, so this year we're at the very tail end of it, but if they closed it out at 62.2, which is what is expected, 2019 is supposed to jump up to $64.2 billion worldwide. That's insanity.
Well, and they have the second half of our Avengers film to look forward to. A lot of that revenue being brought in.
I didn't even grasp that, but I do know that for the first half of 2018, Marvel Studios brought in $4+ billion in global revenue, and that is before Ant-Man even came in. Those numbers were tracked before that did, and that was expected to hit $700 million. So Jeebus, that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Indeed.
And that's only 3 of the films that are coming out, or that came out in 2018. So this year, we've got a lot more films that are coming out from Disney and Marvel. We've got Captain Marvel, which if you're not familiar with it, I can tell you about that. We got Frozen 2, Toy Story 4. Like, these are huge movies that are going to bring in billions.
Lion King. Can't wait for that. Did you see the trailer on the Lion King?
The trailer, when I saw the trailer in the Lion King, well, first off, I saw it live on TV when it aired. When I looked it up on YouTube, it had 215 million views on it already, which is like an insane number. Let me fact check that.
Well, think of all the revenue that comes from everybody watching. I mean, I don't know what the numbers actually are, but think of all the money that comes from people watching that trailer, and then the money that everybody that's paid advertising, different, those ads that pop up before you get to actually watch the trailer. Think of all that money that they would generate just from all the ads they had playing with the trailer on YouTube and wherever else.
So when I said 215 million, I was wrong. It was 215,000. It is up to 52 million views right now as of today.
Holy hell.
52.6. So that's an insane. But shot for shot, the trailer hasn't changed since it did in 95 whenever the first freaking Lion King came out. It is the exact same trailer.
And it gave me chills to watch it. I'm actually not sure what I'm more excited about. Watching the Lion King or going to see the second part of the Avengers movie.
I mean, it's a win-win. The Avengers is gonna debut in May, and the Lion King comes out in July 19th. I think is.
I don't have to be conflicted.
No, you don't have to. All you have to do is go spend your money. That's it, man.
I think next year might be the year that I go to AMC and buy their $20 a month thing where you can go watch 3 movies a week. I don't know if that's worth it, but it might be.
Yeah, I don't know.
at least for 2 months, because there's a lot of movies coming out. At least for 2 or 3 months, I'm going to be a member. I'll spend $60 and go watch 10 movies, because that's worth the price of admission right there.
So we touched on Avengers 4, which is going to be insane. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Dumbo, were you excited about Dumbo? It freaked me out, really.
I don't know how I feel about that one, because I was not so much a Dumbo fan as I was Lion King. But I think Ashley really enjoys Dumbo. I could be wrong.
I did not. I thought it was kind of terrifying. But that comes out in March 29th of 2019. Kim Possible.
That should be a spring release. Just for the kids who they're on spring break.
Yeah, but do you remember the movie of Dumbo? Like his mom.
I remember he had big ears.
His mom was tortured, and then he was cast off in like a cage, and then he was forced to perform, and then he was like a dork, and people made fun of him, all the other animals, and I don't know.
Disney does that, but Disney does that to a lot of their films. Let's look at you're talking about parents being tortured or dying. Bambi.
Yes,
mom
please. Okay, when does Bambi's mom hit the torture rack? Because I don't remember that in the movie.
Well, she died, kind of.
It's
like in the beginning.
No, she does die in the beginning.
Let's go to the Lion King. Mufasa dies, so Simba's just like, what the hell? Hell, Frozen. their parents die when they're at a young age. The parents go on a boat and never come back. So
did you know that boat is actually featured as the boat that Ariel swims in Little Mermaid?
I wondered if that was the same boat.
It's the same boat.
So it ties into
all the Disney movies.
Oh my God! Wow,
all the
that's
Disney
crazy.
movies are connected. Like there's even weirder shit that's connected between.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know.
So people, Disney is not afraid to invoke emotion, and that's where Dumbo was not afraid to invoke emotion. Now PETA might have a problem with the new one, live action.
It's ridiculous. They can't. It's a fictitious movie. But what they won't have a problem with is Aladdin. I'm very excited about Aladdin.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You got Will Smith as the genie. And then that one guy, whoever he is, as Aladdin. But that trailer, again, just like the trailer for, they just mirror the trailers from the 90s and they just play the same trailer, but they shoot it shot for shot with the live action
Only
stuff.
one may enter.
That trailer was badass. But the soundtrack for Aladdin is what I'm most excited for out of anything. So that should be.
It's going to be a fun year. I think Disney's now finally focused on a few things, and they're doing a few things right. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun year. I feel like a kid again. Now I'm waiting for them to. Well, was Peter Pan Disney?
Yeah, Peter Pan was Disney.
Bring back Peter Pan. I know they've done a couple new features. I'm not sure what the most recent Pan was about.
The problem is Peter Pan is actually like a shared property. It doesn't. Disney no longer owns it.
Really?
So they can't. That's why there've been so many of those renditions made. So like,
did you see the last one?
I don't know. I lose track of Peter Pans and Robin Hoods because they're all shared properties.
Robin Hood's coming out. Yeah, good segue to that.
Robin Hood already came out.
Did it already come out?
Yeah, it came out like 2 weeks ago. And
I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to see it. But the actor that plays Robin Hood's actually really good.
Yeah, well, they actually don't. They still. I've heard it was crap. So
well, shit.
Excuse me. I do have bad news for you though.
Don't tell me.
Avengers comes out May 3rd. Aladdin comes out May 24th. So you're gonna have to go see a movie twice in 1 month. So
that's why I'm saying I'll go get the AMC pass. It's $20 and I can go see 3 movies a week. Or I can just go on Tuesday and spend $5.
Yeah, that might be your best option. But Ryan, are you excited for Toy Story 4? The closure to the series? I
gotta be honest, Donnie. I'm not really sure if I think that movie's light years away from my pickup here. Yeah. I'm not sure, man. I didn't see 3, so I
don't. I think 3 was Hug and Bear, which is it was just another weird.
Are they bringing Woody home? What's are they taking?
It's just
what's
weird.
Going on?
There's like fewer and fewer toys that are in it that you knew before, and they introduce different ones. I don't know. It's odd, but
first off, how old is that kid?
Well, the kid that kid no longer owns the toys. He gave them to like a nursery, and then somehow I think they got back to his little sister. I don't really know, but Andy's not the owner of the toys anymore.
Is Tom Hanks still Woody?
Yes.
That might be worth it.
And Tim Allen is still Buzz, yes. Except now there's Spanish Buzz is now involved as well. So I don't know.
I mean, I got no problem with that. It's a little different from the one that was released 94, 95.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, you can't get better than number 1, man. I think this is just a nostalgia play for all of us, 30-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm just happy that they're capping it.
Getting all of us 30-year-olds back in the movie theaters because none of us want to wait for The Lion King and Aladdin. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So then, in addition to that, again, like we said, we had Frozen 2, which is I think going to be incredibly successful, just based off your household alone. Yes. Is it? Yes. Your girls don't love Frozen. Are you kidding me?
They do, but they love the Frozen they know.
Okay.
It's just going to be a little different. I mean, if it was,
well, they didn't know Frozen until they were showed it, and so they've got to be shown now Frozen 2, and they'll love that one just as much, I'm sure.
As long as Olaf is in it, I'm set.
I just want Sven and little Sven to be in it too.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, you have to have them in there.
What?
No, I had something, but go for it.
Captain Marvel. Do you know anything about that movie?
Well, I didn't see today's preview, but I have seen some of the trailers leading up to it, and it looks pretty cool. Now, I don't know what specifically the tie-in will be to the Avengers movie, though, because wasn't the last phone call made before, what's his name?
Samuel L.
Yeah, Samuel L. disappeared. Wasn't that to Captain Marvel? So this is supposed to be a segue to introduce her to the universe and then get her into the next film. So But she's supposed to be like one of the most powerful beings, correct?
Yeah, positively, one of the most powerful, and they already had a trailer for Captain Marvel. I mean, they had bits of it where she fell through a Blockbuster video, which was just to date the presence of when the trailer was actually shot, and there was some really intricate stuff that we've covered on that. But yeah, Captain Marvel should be very interesting, and yeah, there's a degree of time travel, or at least like time dilation, where she is maybe.
Oh, that's right. Oh, so the story I saw was that she was from another world.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, that was Supergirl.
She's definitely from somewhere else. Or she was
Supergirl.
Yeah, don't get that confused. That's the wrong property completely.
Wrong superhero.
Yeah, but Captain Marvel should be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to know how they take it and how it ties in with the new franchise, and then who do we see from that one that surfaces again? Maybe even in Avengers 4, because she's gonna have to link up with the Avengers at some point. So,
well, I can tell you who they're not going to see again.
Who?
Spider-Man.
Why do you think that?
Because
they're all coming back.
We'll see. Well,
Spider-Man has a sequel that has not been announced yet. So yes, they're Far From Home. He's in London. He does something in London. It's like a field trip or something, but he's definitely still around.
It'll be fun to watch. I think we definitely need to, as that movie gets closer to the approach, we definitely need to do our predictions like we did the last year or the last time. But I think we're all going to be a lot smarter, more in tune to what we think is going to happen in the next episode of that. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. And I love the Marvel franchise, and then we have Star Wars Episode 9, man, which is this time next year. So
oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I think, and see the beauty of Star Wars Episode 8, I think dividing the fans so harshly is that I don't care if you loved it or hate it, you're gonna go to the movies to see it, to see how it
see how it finishes.
So maybe Rian Johnson's take on it and how people perceived it was like the greatest thing that could ever happen to Star Wars, because it may have just made enough people interested to see it fail, to see it not fail, to be pissed off, to be happy. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it will be a very interesting time to be a Star Wars fan 1 year exactly from right now, or some change. So
I can't believe. Jesus.
Yeah, and that's a Skywalker story coming to an end, so it should be very interesting. The last bit about this Disney news is that 2018. This came from the Orlando Sentinel. At the beginning of 2018, they did a study that said theme park attendance was up 6% over last year, so over 17. And then revenue actually topped $5 billion, which is awesome, which is huge. So if you've got your global whatever that is 66 billion, your movies that are coming in at 9 billion, you've got to think, what is it? Merchandise? Is it other stuff? Like, what is it? But the end result here is that it has nothing. There's no sign of it stopping at all.
It's Disney.
Yeah, it's an unstoppable, unmovable machine, and that's just what's happening. So
they understand what people want and they give it to them, but they also charge a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's in respect to that, that's not a bad thing. If you want something that's of good quality and you're going to have a great experience, do you want something that's cheap and just not going to last forever, or do you want something that's worth the price of admission, and you go and you spend your whole day there and you take your family where dreams are made, and remind yourself about what being a kid is? That's what they hold on to. I think that's, out of all the other theme parks in the world, and there are a couple Disney locations, correct? I mean, there's
several.
Out of all the other theme parks, what place reminds you of actually being a kid? Because Disney has all of those movies that everybody around the world could have grown up with, right?
Well, I think it's beyond that.
It is beyond that, but nobody's going to say, hey, let's go to Busch Gardens and spend $200 a ticket. Yeah. Why would I?
Yeah.
What else do you have to offer besides a couple roller coasters? Not in a bad way to Busch Gardens, but this offers a way to go into a world immersed with the characters and the things that you love daily. So
yeah, well, and it's not just that too. It's that Disney is the epitome. So when you talk about Disney, like the theme parks, to me and to everybody that almost I talk to, even with kids, without kids, whatever, Disney is essentially like vacation. It's synonymous. When I think to go to Disney, I'm like, I'm going on vacation. So whatever you're doing, if you're at Disney, you're on vacation. That's just how it is. So that's how I always remember it. But that's just the reputation and the persona they've developed. So good on Disney, man. And I think every theme park is jealous for it, and they could have built that too. But Disney has more of a complete package than most, where they supplement their films with their parks and their parks with their films and their properties and their merchandise and their iconic American, whatever. It's just the way it is. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think it's just fantastic. To totally close this out, let's say if anything else, we can go through some of the movies that they've announced from a Disney standpoint that have not even yet been released and have tentative dates. If you want to go through a couple of those.
Sure. Yeah.
So some of the ones that I'm real excited for, Sword and the Stone. Do you remember that one? The cartoon?
Absolutely.
Did you like that movie as much as I did when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember all the little details, but hell yeah. The cartoon one, right?
Blonde kid.
Yeah.
Finds a sword.
That was fun.
Dragon who's a witch lady. Yeah, whatever. It's awesome. It's totally awesome.
They're remaking that?
Yes, they are. And I don't have the date for that, but they
as a cartoon or as a live action?
As a live action, Aladdin, Jungle Book, whatever. They're going to remake all these things, okay? They're remaking all of them.
Why can't they do a Dragon Ball Z film?
Whoever owns Dragon Ball Z, have them sell it to Disney. They will.
Yeah, Disney should just buy out Funimation right now and I think Toonami Animation or
the
Toonami.
The people that own Dragon Ball Z are Funimation.
No, I said it's Toonami. I can't remember.
Not gonna work here is what it sounds like.
Hold on. Who owns?
Well,
sorry, hold on. I gotta type this. We can pick it back up in a second. Toei Animation. So they should buy out Toei Animation, Funimation, and all that. Those are just other places that put the shows on. But make an actual Dragon Ball Z movie. People will go and watch it as long as it's better than the original crap that was put out. I've specified before. Anyway.
It's hard though. It's hard. I think it's still hard to make an anime because that is kind of an anime thing.
I know, but if Disney bought it and then turned it into a land that I could go to, like you guys get to go to for Star Wars, I would buy the first bed. I don't care what it would cost.
All right. Well, on this list is not Dragon Ball, but what is besides Sword in the Stone is Rocket. Rocket's getting his own movie in the year of 2022. A prequel for Rocket the Raccoon, Bradley Cooper's character. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. That would be fun. Tentatively, there's a rumor for February 18th, 2022, but that sounds pretty far off. So who the hell knows? Jungle Book 2 has not been announced yet, but that one is definitely coming. The Little Mermaid, they have really announced that is coming. It's going to look like the Jungle Book or the Lion King, the live actions, but we don't really know what that will look like, really, in terms of a timeline or a date.
Will Elsa's parents be on the boat?
I don't think so. They'd be dead.
You said it was earlier.
They would be dead, I'm saying. The people on the boat would be dead. The boat sinks, and that's why Ariel's hanging out. She's a mermaid, for Pete's sake. She doesn't have legs. She can't walk on the sand or whatever people do. Remember?
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. Cruella DeVille. She's getting her own movie, too, eventually, I guess.
Is Glenn Close playing her?
Probably. They're probably the same age, roughly now, about 30 years from the 70s, so they should be ripe old age of 105 or so. Yeah, not sure. Not sure, but I wouldn't doubt it. Lady and the Tramp.
Okay.
Does that like Aristocats? No, that's not on the list. But does the Lady and the Tramp need to be live?
How are you gonna get two dogs to kiss with a string of noodles?
They'll do it. They'll make it happen. That's the stuff they're into, man.
Oh my god.
Jungle Cruise with the Rock.
Never saw it. I have no idea.
The Jungle Cruise is a ride. That's all. It's a ride at Disney World. But
thanks for switching that up real quick.
Well, the Jungle Cruise is a movie that's going to come out on July 24th, 2020. But it's a ride at Disney World that this movie is going to be based off of.
Okay.
Basically, the way this started is that The Rock was standing on the world's largest set for a movie. And that's what he said. And they panned out with a drone. And it looked crazy. And they said, we're making a movie. We're not telling you when it's coming out. Apparently, it's coming out July 24th, 2020. And then you have Indiana Jones slated for 2021, which is going to be the final franchise movie, which in 2018, Harrison Ford is already 76 years old. So that is another, 3 years from now, which puts him at the ripe age of 79. I would do it now before he turns 80 years old. But that's just me. He wasn't, did you watch Crystal Skull? He was fine. It was kind of crazy. He was an old man in a refrigerator for a lot of it.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah, that was intense for sure. But his old bones would be brittle and break. I don't know.
I don't know. He is Harrison Ford, man.
I know he does carry some chutzpah. If he asks,
he's built Ford tough.
That's true. Black Panther 2 is coming out sometime soon. We don't know when. I would assume it'll be probably 2021 maybe. I'm guessing they're gonna strike that iron shortly after Avengers 4. So I would assume that they're gonna release those dates soon. I would
Wakanda forever.
slate Black Panther 2 for 2020 at the very latest.
I think that's a pretty good
Spot on.
Yeah, because they have to with
They have to.
with
They
the
just
way,
have to.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to. That movie did so well. Black
There's
Widow.
just such a following for it.
There is. It's huge. Black Widow, which is the ScarJo character from Avengers, she's going to get her own movie for some reason. Not sure why, but that's slated to come out for May 1st, 2020.
Is that a porno?
No, but it very well could or is.
Sorry.
It could be.
I'm not saying that in a bad way, Scarlett Johansson. We love you. I'm not saying that. No, just the name.
Well, she's listening right now, so I'm glad you prefaced.
I know. That's why I was letting her know. It's much
That's
love on our side. So
she says thanks. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Very excited about that. I think Volume 3 will change the tone for the Marvel Cinematic Universe overall. I think the Guardians are going to start playing a much, much larger role in the overall Marvel universe.
Do you think Gamora comes back?
Possibly, only because, again, I think strongly that she will come back because of the part she played in Avengers Avengers Infinity War Part 1. She played a huge part in that, and if you remember at the very end of that, he saw her vision and her spirit or whatever. So, like, I want to say
could allude to her not actually being
correct.
Dead. The sacrifice could have just been made to see if you would do it for the stone, but you might not have actually taken her life. Ooh.
Or if you could reverse a sacrifice opposed to all this people that die with the snap. I don't know. It would be interesting, or a give and a get, right? Like at the end of it comes down to Thanos has to give his life, her life. He probably will do it. That's how she comes back. Yada yada. Maybe we don't get all the 50% of people back. I don't know, but
this is juicy stuff right here, Donnie. I think we just uncovered some probable ideas.
I think if you just pop on Reddit, you'll see the same theory, but it's just something interesting. I just think that'd be an interesting way to do it. But I don't think she's going anywhere because I think the Guardians are going to have a lot more presence. Okay. I think the Avengers are going to transition into the Guardians, and so the Guardians have a more Avengers-like presence over the universe, is what I think. A unified place, and it's not just Earth, but it's all these things. And so then you've got the Avengers team, and you've got the Guardians team, and you've got all these other space people and whatever Captain Marvel brings in and makes it a bunch of aliens. I think it's going to culminate into one Guardians of the Galaxy type Avengers relationship. So
Avengers of the Galaxy,
right? Essentially, but they're called Guardians. So that's
wow. So Donnie, before we go on to this next one, I just have to ask the question: is Eddie Murphy in it?
Eddie Murphy. Who was Eddie Murphy in the Guardians?
No, the next one.
Oh, Mulan. Yes, Mulan. I'm like, what was Eddie Murphy in the Guardians? He was not.
I thought we were done with the Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Well, the funny thing is, what I've heard from Mulan, besides the fact that it's slated to release on March 27, 2020, is that they got some of the original cast back for like Lion King, and I don't think they'll get any of the original cast back for Aladdin. But if they get some of the
James Earl Jones,
right? If they get some of the cast back from Mulan, why wouldn't they get Eddie Murphy? Unless they've totally redone that character, which they may have. But I think I don't know if the Mulan cast list has already been announced. So
but no one else could play. Well, I think it was Mufasa, right? With James Earl Jones was Mufasa.
Correct. Yeah.
So nobody else could take the voice of Mufasa, but you're not going to get the same voice for Simba as an adult. I mean, I don't think, or at least as a child.
No, I think Michael B. Jordan is going to be. No, not Michael B. Jordan. The cast list for the Aladdin has already been out, and I think it's I think it was the guy from Star Wars, Solo. It was
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you think they drop some little Easter eggs, if you will, paying homage to the late great Robin Williams in Aladdin?
Absolutely, I'm sure they will.
You have to. I think that's when I think back on Aladdin, I think of Robin Williams. I don't really know who the voice actor was of Aladdin. I just pictured Aladdin as Aladdin. He was a great character. But when I look at that movie as a whole, I look back at Robin Williams playing probably one of the greatest cartoon characters of all time, and being that voice that, as a kid, was just spectacular to listen to and to laugh and feel emotion that, why feel emotion with a cartoon character? Well, you felt Genie, but you felt Robin Williams' love.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not to
Yeah,
go
he
down
was-
that deep rabbit hole, man. But man,
No, it's good, and
Ugh.
I'm sure there will be some tribute there, and it's gonna be good. All of these are gonna be good. And for the record, Donald Glover is gonna play Simba, who was Lando in Solo.
oh, okay.
Dude, whatever, man. All right, all these.
I like Donald Glover. I like him. That's cool.
He's good. Childish Gambino is great. All these casts have been nailed correctly, and the execution on these are great. And Jungle Book was great, right? And that's what kind of set off this whole live action thing. But if we only get better from that, I'm okay with that. And I'll take all these classics from our childhood '90s and relive them again and before before the '90s. So to close things out, yeah, I'm super stoked for it. So I can't wait, but
awesome.
But that's it, man. All right. So you were saying?
No, I was going to ask what beer should I brew for each of these movies coming out? Because
we'll have to think through that. You've got a busy May then. Yeah.
I have to brew an Avengers IPA. There it is.
One beer to save them all. I don't know. Whatever.
Beer to save them all.
Yeah, there you go. That's got to be a fully fleshed out team of ingredients that can really pack a punch.
Space dust.
Space dust. Let's get a meteor. Get scientists on a meteor. Ryan, where can the good kids find you?
Besides on the podcast, you can find me on Instagram at BrewedBoy813. Not so much on Twitter, but I'm still there. You can still search me. And on the Craft Brews and Geek News Facebook page, you can find both me and Donnie and all the other people that are joined into our group. Send us a request, and I might approve you, depending on if you have beer in your picture or not.
We'll definitely preview. Everybody's approved. We try to keep it, again, regulated so that we can keep the good folks in and the nasty, nasty trolls out.
Absolutely.
And so far, we've been treated to a delightful cast of roughly 90 attendees and group members. So please do join the group. We'd love to have you in the involved conversation here. You can find me at Brewmasters Club on Twitter and Instagram, Craft Brews and Geek News on YouTube. The Facebook is Craft Brews and Geek News. And if anybody's listening, tracking with us this long, we appreciate you. Please leave us a review. If you're on SoundCloud, if you're on iTunes, if you're on the Google Play Store, leave us a review, a positive or negative, if that's how you feel. We appreciate it, and please stop spreading the hate. But if you have any good things to say, anything in general, just let us know. We respond to positive criticism. We do love interacting with everybody. Again, the Facebook group is a great place to get a hold of us. Craft Brews and Geek News. There, just let us know what you're thinking, what you're drinking. We'll get a lot of stories that we talk about here. We gather insight for there, so we love it, and we will talk to you guys in the near future. Anything else, Rye Guy?
You've just perfectly summarized everything.
Okay. Check out our good friends Brew, as Ryan, if you're local here in the Tampa, Florida area, please check out Brew. They were just featured in an article on The Identity, which is a newsletter from the Lightning that is put out, the hockey team there. That's how I checked it out. They've got a brand new website it's very informative, got a lot of information. They've actually included us in our Florida Craft Beer Day on their website, which was so great. So I just love those guys at Brew. We'll do anything we can to support them, and they seem to want to support us too, which we appreciate.
We love Brew.
I'm sorry, one more time.
I said we love Brew.
That's right. Ryan, as we say at the end of every podcast,
only one may enter the diamond in the rough.
Okay. That's right, buddy. All right, good job.
I've been sitting on that the whole time.
That's fine. I can see you had a steamer there. You got it. All right. We love you guys. Thank you, everybody. Leave us that review on iTunes, especially. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!